Alright, so I'm Ahmad Faradun.
I'm Emily Shepard.
I'm Tommy Gross.
And we're going to be talking about physician-assisted suicide and in Idaho and if it should be legalized or to be kept illegal. And so we're going to first talk about the definition of what physician-assisted suicide is.
So the physician-assisted suicide refers to the practice where a physician provides a potentially lethal medication to a terminally ill, suffering patient at his request so that he can take or not take at a time of his choosing to end his life. It is also called physician-assisted death.
Alright, so I'm going to start off. I think, personally, I think that there really isn't a reason for it to be illegal. Because if you are terminally ill, and in most cases, not most cases, but in some cases, it is actually, the quality of life for you isn't there anymore. It's just down the toilet. Then you should be able to go to a doctor and have them assist you in suicide, because it's just like it's hard making the decision on yourself, like on your own, because that's the only way to do it now. Is if you're terminally ill, either A, you suffer until you die, or B, you just do it yourself, and then there's no like proof of anything, and there's no medical records or anything like that of you doing it. It just makes the system a whole lot better, like legally, it does, and just for peace of mind of those around you and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. So if someone were to choose that way, then they're taking, I wouldn't really say the easy way out, but it is a better option for them, because then they're just dragging on life and not wanting to live day to day, and it's also putting more pressure on the family and just the surrounding people, because they don't want to be there, but they're forced to be there.
I also agree. It's just with when you're terminally ill, just life, the quality. When you're terminally ill, the quality of life just isn't there anymore. And I believe, if you truly don't want to live anymore, you should have the ability to decide how your life is, and so you could go to a physician and get that assisted suicide instead of dragging your life on, and it's just horrible. And this isn't like making anyone do it. It's just giving the opportunity for people to do it that they don't want to live anymore, because their quality of life is just isn't there. But I do understand why some people do want it illegal, just because physicians, when you become a doctor, there's the whole code that you sign, which is you want to resuscitate people, and you want them to live the best, and you try to heal anyone you can. And so physicians, when they sign up for their job, they usually sign up to help people. They don't want to see the pain, and usually most physicians can't like stand seeing their clients or their patients just in pain, and it's just not a good thing for them. So I do believe, like, I understand why they want it illegal, and why some physicians wouldn't want to do that. And it's just the whole life of that, and just their opinion in general. So it's just giving the people the option. It's not forcing anyone to really do it.
Yeah. So a physician-assisted suicide is legal in 9 U.S. states. So it's currently legal in the District of Columbia, Hawaii, Maine, New Jersey, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. But it is still illegal in Idaho.
And
So I think for the most part we all kind of have a consensus on the fact that physician-assisted suicide should be legal in its current definition, whereas like you have to take it yourself. There has to be like a drug or something that you take yourself, that they give to you, and you can still decide whether or not to take it.
Yeah.
In order to kill yourself. And then it's only if you are terminally ill. It's not if you have the want to die. So like I think that we all agree on that.
Yeah.
And I also feel like legalizing this, I hope that it, like, if we do legalize it, it is giving people the choice to do it, giving the patient the choice, and giving the physician the choice. And so I believe that the physician should have the opportunity to decline if a patient is like, can you give me the physician's assistant of suicide, because they morally don't want to do it, or if they just can't, they can't deal with the fact that they allowed someone to commit suicide by their assistance.
Because it could go against some physicians' morals to have somebody kill themselves on their watch.
Yeah, like
because it does go against the doctor's code that they try to keep people alive, and that does go against it.
Yeah. But I also think that there's like another angle to it where I think do you guys think that people should also, if they just want to kill themselves, even if they're not terminally ill or anything like that, that they should be able to go ahead and still be able to get that physician's assisted suicide?
I don't think that they should be able to get the physician's assisted suicide if they're not terminally ill. But I do think that they could have a talk with a doctor about that, and then the doctor can offer other choices like therapy and antidepressants and stuff like that. But I don't think that they should have assisted suicide. Yeah,
it's just, no matter what, it wouldn't ever really be legalized just to be able to commit suicide through a physician, because if a person just goes to a physician and asks, hey, I want to just commit suicide, but for no reason, well, they have like personal reasons, no health reasons, they wouldn't do it, because suicide is just something that no one wants other people to commit suicide, because they're going through that rough time, and they want them to become better, and like life moves on and it does become better eventually, and so they would just like take them to therapy, or as Emily said, just give them the different resolutions to their issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it should be allowed. I think that you should, if like you want to kill yourself, you should be able to go to a physician and ask, even if you don't have any outstanding terminal illness or anything like that, just because there's so many just suicides and things that happen that aren't recorded. It's like people are going to kill themselves regardless. That's just the facts of the matter. But if you have somebody go into like a doctor's office and then get physician assisted suicide, then it's on record, and you don't have to there's nothing to investigate. There's no foul play or anything like that. There's no worrying about other things, and there's no cleanup if they drink a serum or something like that. It just makes the whole operation a lot easier, because then you have it on the books that there's nothing wrong, except for like there's nothing criminally wrong within their death.
I guess, but I do think that instead of just jumping straight to the physician's assisted suicide, they should like make the patient look at other opportunities, I guess is a way to say it, or other ways to help instead of going straight to death. If the patient somehow comes up or like has a terminal illness that they just don't know about, then I think that assisted suicide should be okay.
I think that like if somebody wants to just go out of their way to kill themselves just without terminal illness, that maybe have a requirement that you have to have taken therapy or something before, because there's some people who have definitely gotten their lives back together after wanting to commit suicide or something like that. But I think that if they could make requirements for it, so you'd have to go through therapy and whatever to try and better your life, and then after however many therapy sessions or whatever, stuff like that, if they still want to, then they should be allowed to. I don't think you should be able to go into the doctor's office on a temper or whatever, or in a bad mood, and just be able to, like, a poor impulse decision end your life.
Because I heard somewhere, I don't know if this is completely true, but most suicides are just out of the blue. It's just more of like a spark, not like there are some suicides that people have been planning, but they usually just something triggers them that makes them, they're like, I'm gonna end my life. Like maybe their life was poor, wasn't the greatest before, but something does trigger it and it's just spontaneous. So I do believe, like, yeah, if the physician assistant's suicide would be like better and more easier death for them. But I also feel like if we did have that, when the person walks into the clinic, they're probably gonna like eventually like realize that they don't want to commit suicide. Their life is actually better, so it could reduce the amount of suicides just because they walk in, and then they have to make an appointment because you can't just walk in and see a physician because they have a schedule and they have appointments. So they would make an appointment, talk to their physician, and then if they did require therapy or something like that, it would make it better, and maybe it hopefully would improve more people's lives. It's just very risky to have.
I still don't agree, because even after a certain number of therapy sessions, a person could still not be 100% better and then just tell people that they're better because they just want to kill themselves and they just want a way to get away. And in Idaho in 2017, there were 339 suicides just in 2017. And the average for every 5 years, the average for every 5-year period is 20.9.
20.9
suicides
every 5 years,
I think.
I'll
delete that.
Yeah, we'll delete that. It's fine.